Welcome to episode 2 of the MD CPA Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Driscoll. We got a great episode this week. We're focusing today on the do's and don'ts of sales. Is your accounting team fully staffed? Are you prepared for your upcoming year-end audit? Have you properly consulted and accounted for that major business transaction earlier this year? Now is the time to address these concerns. MD CPA currently offers fully customized accounting solutions specializing in both contract and project work. Take advantage of our current free consultation today at www.mdcpa-llc.com. And now, here's episode 2 of the MD CPA podcast. All right, welcome into today's episode. Today's guest is Casey Redmond. Casey's currently a sales consultant for Businessolver, a benefits administration company. So welcome, Casey. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Yeah, I've been doing Businessolver about 4 years. Businessolver really functions in the HR space. Help folks with enrollment, a lot of the compliance that comes around benefits. So I'm working with, benefits folks, the people that are administering those healthcare that you sign up for. So dental, medical, vision, all those voluntary products. Companies also offer a lot of ancillary things like sleep aid and stuff like that. And our platform really houses all that stuff so that when you go online and enroll, you just take the enrollment process and you can find all that information in one spot. Makes it easier for the administrators so they're not juggling a bunch of vendors. And that's kind of where we sit. Um, yeah, it's my role.
Nice. So yeah, you said that you've been there for about 4 years now. Talk to me a little bit about how you got there. It's a new software, right? No matter where you go for sales, it's a new product that you don't have a may not have a great background on. Just talk about where you were at before that, and just kind of the learning curve of just learning what Businessolver does on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, interesting enough, I came from enterprise rent-a-car, so not anywhere close to software sales. And not only that, but the industry itself around benefits and how that whole industry functions is probably more important than the software aspect. I mean, they're both equally important, but for me, the learning curve was learning all the things around that industry and the benefits industry in general, because it's so complicated and it's part of the US healthcare system and how those companies are administering those benefits. But coming from enterprise rent-a-car, I graduated college with a degree in chemistry. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. For chemistry, you really got to go back, get your master's, PhD if you want to do something long term with it. Not that you can't with the bachelor's, but definitely more advantageous to go back. That wasn't really the career path I wanted to. Saw love and other drugs, and I was like, I want to go do pharmaceutical sales. So I was like, leverage the chemistry degree. Let's go do sales with something cool. One of my family members worked for a pharmaceutical company and said, go work at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, ADP. We hire a bunch of folks from there. So I reached out to Enterprise, started working from there. I worked there for 3 years, worked my way up the ladder. And it's funny because Enterprise Rent-A-Car really isn't a whole lot of sales. I mean, there is sales aspects to it, but it's a lot of customer service. When you start, you're vacuuming cars, you're renting cars to people, you're out and about, you get there at like 6:30 in the morning, just cleaning cars in this full suit. Enterprise is really big on making sure that you have all that squared away and dress clothes, making sure it's professional possible. Even when I started, like you had to wear a white shirt and a tie. There was no like your individualism came with like the color of socks you wore and maybe the color of slacks. Like that was it. They loosened it up a little bit since then, but you're just heavy customer service, renting cars. And I guess the sales aspect is when you go out on the lot, you're offering those additional like coverages for the rental cars specifically. And then you get stack ranked against all of the people that are in the same position you are. But then from there, I kind of worked my way up and was managing a branch in Boulder and then in Stapleton. And Stapleton was one of the bigger ones. From there, I knew that enterprise wasn't long term for me. I knew that I was going to leap into something else. So then friend of a friend basically introduced me to Businessolver, and I started back at the bottom again. I got pushed back into basically what we call like a BDR role where you're just doing cold calling all day and setting meetings. And I get it because I was coming from a space that's completely different, and especially benefits. It's such a unique space. Like you really do have to learn the ropes, learn what's going on there. So started again at the bottom, worked my way back up, and now I'm back in the full sales cycle from start to finish, closing contracts and managing current clients.
Nice. Yeah, I remember you. I think so. You left right in the middle of COVID, right? Or just right after COVID. Um, I just remember you telling me stories of, hey, everything is completely changed now, right? Like all things changed during COVID, but just trying to manage that, the center you were at, and um, everything was on the fly. Everything was, they told you to do this today, it changed tomorrow, it changed the next week. I just think that experience, just the enterprise experience to begin with, just sounds so beneficial to your sales career. But then you factor in, hey, I had to manage all of these things going on in the middle of COVID. I just think being on your toes, being able to adapt is was so important for a career in sales. Um, so I'm sure you hated it at the time, but I'm sure it was good experience after the fact.
Yeah, enterprise was so good at giving you the soft skills. Regardless if it's, sales, I think it leans really well into sales because enterprise is incredibly competitive. Not that all sales is like that, but you definitely have to be like, I'm going to be number one mindset going to sales. It just helps out a ton. But not only that, but you're reaching out to all different walks of life of people. You're dealing with customer service day to day. And the way it kind of works as an enterprise is when you become a manager, you're kind of running a small business. They're like, listen, you get paid based on the bottom line. So there's also an aspect of you have a base plus commission because your commission is based on the profitability of the branch that you run. You're responsible for all the numbers. You're responsible, like your HR for the store. You're managing employees. You're managing a fleet of cars. Like I was managing a branch that was 250 cars, but you're juggling all these balls, right? I'm used to waking up at 5:30 in the morning, starting work, and getting home at like 6 o'clock. So, I mean, just that level of drivenness and determination. And then when you come into like a role like a BDR, I was working from home and I was like, this is completely different. But I would start my morning really early, work later than most people because that's just what I was used to. And starting that out, especially coming out of like college, it's so great to see like someone coming out of college and having that sort of work environment working in it. It just gives you such a foundation when you go pretty much anywhere in the business world, but especially for sales, because sales is really, really self-driven and you have to be that person that's going to be a self-starter going out and getting yourself, especially when you work in commission.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, cool. So obviously you're an expert on sales at this point. So I did want to chat about that and just kind of run through, hey, here's some of the things that I've kind of encountered since launching my business. Um, Obviously, I'm an accountant at heart, and accounting and sales do definitely not go hand in hand. So it's definitely been a learning curve the last couple of months as I've started out. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to chat through that with you. Um, after leaving my job, my full-time job, it was kind of sink or swim right off the bat. That was just kind of the setting that I needed. So I left my job, and then it was on me to figure out, all right, what's my business plan, and then how am I going to find my customer base. Um, as a as an accountant, the majority of the business professionals that I'll meet is through LinkedIn. Um, so I've been, kind of tweaking that, tailoring my. I try to do a post every single week, trying to target the customers that I know are in need of the services that I offer. Um, but the big thing that, and I got this advice from somebody else, is really just be yourself when it comes to everything. So, if you look at any of my posts, all of the pictures are from AI. A lot of them just look really dumb and funny. Um, but it's just I just thought they were funny and a way to just bring in potential customers. Um, what I've really noticed is just being yourself, and we kind of talked about this before the recording, is really treating every single connection as oh, this connection could be the big one, really just treating every single interaction that way. But just kind of get your thoughts on those two things as far as just sticking to who you are as a person as you go through sales, and just you don't show up to any sales meeting with, I don't want to say a bad attitude, but just showing up with, all right, this could be a big one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're starting to go about it the right way. You have to think of, I guess, the sales process, and this is not anything groundbreaking, but we all call it pipeline or a funnel. Like think about the people that could potentially use your services at the very top, and you kind of work your way down as you start to reach out to them. You may get yeses or nos. They get kicked out of the funnel. They give you no. That yes, say, hey, this person makes sense for me in my business. gets pushed farther in the funnel, then it's like, hey, I would like to reach out to them, start hopefully getting a meeting with them, start giving them information about what I do or whenever the time is right. Ideally, you meet with them and get, some FaceTime so you can start to build a relationship. And then from there, that first time meeting is either, hey, it's not right now, or yeah, I think that this might be a good fit for our business. And then you get into kind of like the contracting phase and the prove it phase or whatever, right? But to your point, as you start to go through these things, you have to spend the time to personalize your approach to these people, like mass blasting a bunch of LinkedIn emails or whatever is, I mean, you've probably gotten them for jobs or whatever, but if it doesn't fit you immediately, like I can't believe that person wasted my time opening up that single email, like get this out of my face. But being genuine and being very targeted in your approach to people goes a really long way because they're getting a bunch of emails, getting a bunch of in-mails, whatever it might be for different products and services. And as you start to kind of figure out the type of people, the organization that's going to fit you and your business the best, you can really start to nail those down and nail your messaging down. But I've always taken the approach like, why would anybody waste, or I not waste, but spend 30 minutes in a call with me if I can't take 10 minutes to research what they do and why I'd be effective specifically to their business, not in general for like accounting, but ABC supply company is going through an acquisition a month down the road. They're going to need some extra hands on the accounting side. You reach out and saying, hey, I've got specialty with one of your previous experiences, saw that you're going through an acquisition. I think I can really leverage my previous experience to help you here. And that messaging goes so much farther than, hey, I'm Mike. This is my job. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Like people are going to immediately delete that stuff. They see their name, their company title, things they're going through right now. They see you spend the time on that message is going to lend yourself to so many meetings. So yeah, genuine for sure, but putting the time, the research, the effort into what they're going through and why you can help go so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And touching on the kind of the funnel that you talked about is you might send 50 emails, and then you'll get two people that respond, one person that wants to set up a meeting. Meeting goes great, meeting doesn't go great, kind of might stall there. So then from there, okay, the meeting did go great. Let's grab coffee. Okay, coffee went well. I'm not interested in your service at this point, but here's another contact who works in the same space, and then you just start that process all over again. Um, so it's and you've mentioned this to me before, but it's you really have to have a thick skin and not take things personally, which is something that I'm very quickly developing and learning is so crucial to running your own business or just being in sales in general. Is you really have to keep your head down, keep grinding, show up with a good attitude, and that's why I think you mentioned your background in customer service. That's what I grew up doing in high school and college. I sold shoes at Sears, office supplies at Office Max, and it's literally just show up with a smile on your face. You don't know what that customer is going to say to you that day, but just continue. And that's such a big that's just critical to being in that role. So
I mean, sales is literally just taking no to the face all day, turn around
yeah,
and like you really have to celebrate those yeses and you really make your own luck with sales too. And you always got to be knocking on new doors. It's great when you get leads and referrals from people because it's like a warm handshake, but don't take your yeses and run with them and say this is like for sure a thing. Keep knocking, keep going. Because like even if you get a yes in the middle of the day, like I wouldn't bank on that. You just got to keep making your own luck and set as many possible meetings as you can. Set a goal for yourself in the week. And you can kind of break it into two, I guess, buckets. For like an organization, it's marketing and sales. But for you, it's like, how can I broaden my outreach? Do maybe some, um, I don't know, whatever, like broader market outreach, like we think about the sending articles to people or like thought research or something like that around making people smart around your product and your company versus direct outreach or sales, which is, cold calling, cold emailing, whatever you want to call it. So obviously I'm more formal, like I'm a lot more usual to the sales side of things, not necessarily the marketing side of things. I mean, I do post on LinkedIn and stuff like that, but those two things hand in hand to go together to, generate a new business essentially.
yeah, absolutely. Well, great. Casey, where customers can reach you or listeners, where can they reach you, learn more about Business Solver?
Feel free to add me on LinkedIn, Casey Redmond or C Redmond at businessolver.com. Feel free to shoot me an email as well, whether it's benefits related or just sales in general. I'm doing it for about 8 years now. So any questions, feel free to reach out. More than happy.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time today. Anything else you wanted to touch on?
No, good luck out there. If you ever need a pep talk, feel free to call me. I'll probably go into the same thing throughout the day, so I'm more than happy to.
Yeah, it might not be good if we're calling each other every day, like, oh man, it's just another brutal day. So,
Brutal again, huh?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, call me when you get a win then.
There you go. Yeah, we'll call you in a couple months.
All right.
So, all right. Thanks, Casey. I appreciate you.
Yeah.